Today I'm sharing how to make this holiday tree stump cake. Begin by dusting 2 pieces of parchment paper with cocoa. Allow both layers of chocolate sponge cake to cool for about 2 minutes once they come out of the oven, and then flip them over onto the cocoa dusted parchment paper. This process is definitely a little bit messy and there will be big clouds of cocoa dust, so make sure that you're prepared for that. Next, while the cake layers are still warm, carefully roll them up using the parchment paper. You want to be really careful and gentle as you do this because you don't want your cake layers to rip or crack, but you do need them to keep that rounded shape. Once the layer is rolled, place it seam side down onto a cooling rack to allow it to cool further. Repeat this process with your second cake layer. By rolling the cake while it's still warm and allowing it to cool in this shape, it gives the cake a bit of muscle memory, so that way when you unroll it to frost it, it will still want to go back to that curled shape. Allow these to cool for about 25 minutes and then very carefully unroll them. Add a very generous layer of peanut butter buttercream. As you spread it on the cake layer, be sure to work it all the way up into the most curved part of the cake. This will help the cake keep its shape as you re-roll it. Using a stiff buttercream is also great because it will fill into any cracks that you may have encountered while unrolling the cake layer and will help it keep its shape once it's fully cooled. Use the parchment paper to carefully re-roll the layer. Once your first layer is rolled, begin to work on your second layer. Once your second layer is frosted, align it with your rolled cake and then carefully combine them into one giant rolled cake. This part can be very tricky, so be careful as you're doing this final roll. Chill the roll in the freezer for about an hour and then trim the ends to make it nice and flat. This step is crucial so that we're able to place it vertically on our cake board. Add a dab of ganache to a cardboard round and then carefully place the cake upright. Once it's nice and secure, add some of the extra peanut butter buttercream to the top of the cake. Swirl in a bit of heated up ganache using a squirt bottle, and then use a fork to create tree rings. Using an offset spatula, add chocolate ganache to the side of the cake. Once the sides are fully covered, use an offset spatula to create score marks up the side of the cake to resemble bark. Add a few extra dabs of ganache around the base, and use your offset spatula to make these into the shape of tree roots. Next, add some chopped pistachios around the base of the cake to look like some fresh moss. I also added a bit to the top of the cake. Using marzipan, carefully shape little mushrooms and acorns. Place around the base of the cake and one on top. Add red sprinkles on top of the chopped pistachios, and then use slivered almonds to insert into the side of the cake to look like a shelf mushroom. And just like that, our holiday tree stump cake is complete. Now it's time to cut in and see those really fun vertical layers. Thanks so much for joining me today. If you guys enjoyed this tutorial, be sure to click the like and subscribe buttons below. And don't forget to let me know what tutorials you guys would like to see next.